Hello everyone, welcome back for the second episode for Chart.js. Now, previous video I told you how to obtain a data service so that we can get data that look like this. Okay, the next step is we are going to also format the result so that it's become the array of the data that would be needed for Chart.js. So let's go ahead and do a couple more steps here so that is to turn it into the format that the Chart.js would like to see. So instead of returning Chart.js, the data as the JSON result, we're gonna need to do a couple more steps here. So we have to first generate the label. Okay, the label will be based on the array of the result. So we are going to select it using select statement here. And we are going to select this based on the property of the zone. So we are going to have the zone number as the label. So it's going to be x of x dot zone. All right, and we are going to turn this into the array. Okay, so that is going to be the first information that we need, and it's also a function call. Now the second piece of information is we also need to, this is going to be used for x-axis as the label. We're going to need y data axis as well. So we're going to say this is going to be the value. The value here will be result of select. And now if you look at this result, we know that the output of result previously, it showed that we have zone and the count property. So we're going to need to do x of x dot count to the array as well. So that's going to return to array one for label, one for y-axis data as label. Also, Chart.js would like to see the maximum value of this y-axis. So we're going to have to say max will be equal to the value of the 0. Okay, so that's going to be max value. Also, the result. So now once this is done, we have to put this into a list of objects. So I'm going to generate the list of objects here, list of objects, and let's call it list number 1 equal to new list of the object. The first thing that has to fix is I have to use generic collections here. Okay, and then after this is done, we just have to say, hey, list 1, could you please add 3 different elements here? One is the label itself. The second thing is the y-axis value. I call it values. And the last one is max. Okay, value. And then we are going to return JSONs of this list 1. Okay, so let's see what happened. Now what we have done so far in addition to the previous step is we use the result, then we create the arrays based on this value. So we know that based on this data is going to pick up these property names uniquely. So we're going to have 1, 2, and 3, and so on. Okay, and for the value is going to pick up this value, this value, this value, and so on as well. And now let's see what would be the output of this. Now keep in mind that those arrays and the data itself can be added to the list of objects this way. Okay, now we can observe the structure of JSONs at the output. So now we are going to go to our previous action call, and now you can see that this time instead of the structure that look like this, now we get the array of, see, the first element of the set is basically the label over here, and the second array here, this is the second array, reflect the value Okay, so it's going to be the value from 3 different zones. Okay, and the last one is the value of this. All right, so now once this is done, okay, we are going to now add the support for chart.js. How to do this? Well, we are going to create the new view for the chart.js. So we are going to create the new folder. So let's go ahead and go to the view folder here, and then say new folders. I'm going to call chart, and inside this folder, let's create index.cs HTML. Okay, so inside of this, we are going to put this. Okay, so you can test this first. So I'm going to put this. So basically, look at this, what it looked like. It's going to have the card structures, the header part of it. Now I'm going to change this as the length cell order by zone. Okay, and then at, at the bottom here we have the footer for the card. Okay, and in the middle we have the card body here, and one of the most important thing is the canvas over here. The canvas is used for HTML tags to display any graphics. Okay, and then we are going to name it as chart number 1. So let's set for it, and now we can test to see if this is working. So we're gonna go back to chart controller here, and this is what we are going to do. We are going to create the new actions. So public I actions and index, and we are going to return the view, and you can specify the name of the view right here, which is the index. Okay, now let me reline the applications. First, if you recall, we went to the folder views and then create a subfolder chart, and inside of this we create the index file. We went back to chart controller here and implement an action index. All right, so now we can reline the applications, and now you can resource to this calling in the URL by just the name of the controller, and it should give us the view as the output. So over here, I'm going to go to the chart controller. You can use index like this as well as to denote the name of the action here. But if you keep it like this, it's going to know that, okay, I want to go for index. Okay, and you can see that now if we compare our implementation here, you can see that we got an empty card. So we got this structure. So we have the header part, we have the footer part, and the canvas in between that doesn't have graph yet. Okay, so we are going to turn it into a graph. What we need to do is go back to our the index.html here, and we are going to refer to the script sections. So inside the .NET Core, for any CS HTML file, you're gonna need to put something like this, okay, to denote the script sections. Now over here, we are going to say we like, okay, to reference to this chart.js. So we are going to put this reference right here. Okay, so this file is available online along with this video tutorial, so you can follow this along as well. Copy this, okay, and then this is under 5.4 sections. Now once that is there, the next step is we're gonna need to have our custom script here. Inside the script, we're gonna say we like to use jQuery to say, hey, the documents, whenever you are fully loaded up, I like you to call the function setup. The function setup is nothing but the functions that does things at the beginnings when the document is fully loaded. And what I like to do so is I'm going to request the data from my previous data service, which is chart underscore slash data. Okay, you can use the AJAX function call. So it's going to be dot AJAX, all right, with the options. Now the option is the objects. You can set the option var options, and this the object structure. Inside this, you're gonna need to denote the methods of your data. So if you say post, okay, so it's going to be post, but in this case, I think in my case, it's going to be get. URL is basically the root of your controller. If you remember, it's going to be our controller name, which is chart controller and the data. Okay, the next information is going to be, allow me to copy this. So this is to denote the type of the data that we get as the output. Okay, we say that we want Unicode data format for JSONs, and data type is going to be JSON as well. And whenever data are live, okay, so we're gonna say, hey, we like to register when data alive. Is going to call function data alive, like this. Okay, now for data functions alive, it's gonna be called whenever data return to the system. It just needs to provide this data alive. We know that's going to be a data that's coming with this actions data. So what I like to test for is I'm going to console log this data first to see if we get the data or not. Okay. All right. So since we just make changes to the, the CSS_HTML file, and for .NET, any update to this, you don't have to rerun the application. Any update to the CSS_HTML file doesn't need to run the application. What you need to do is go back to your web browser here and reload the applications. And now what I like to see is ability to see the data. So I'm going to open up console application area here and refresh it. And it's going to say that it invalid shorthand property from line number 94. So let me go to line number 94. We actually have to examine from here, and they say get type. Okay, so we are going to have to replace that type by, since this is JavaScript, this is no longer .NET CS. Okay, so this is JavaScript, so you cannot use equal, you have to use colon. Okay, for object notations. Other than that, I think this should be okay. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. Refresh it for the console. Now you can see that once this one is fully loaded, one more time, let's take a look at this. You can see that we got 3 array of the data. Okay, the array of 3 data, sorry. The array for label, array for y-axis data, and the max value. Good. Now the next step is I'm going to show you how to make it into the graph. Okay, so once we know that we got the data right here, okay, we're gonna need to display it. So the next step is once data alive, okay, I'm going to show this and explain it in the next episode. Thank you.